Hello, today I'm going to be talking about the vlog post for Module 4, the digital identity. I'm just going to go through, answer questions 1 through 7. So for the first question, how's your digital identity different from your real world self? How is it the same? Generally, my digital identity is very similar to my real world self. I tend to be pretty introverted, and it's reflected in my digital self. I'm not very active on social media. Though I have the main ones, I have Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't really post much. I like, jokes and funny videos and stuff like that. So that's tends to be the stuff that I share on those things, but not much else. I don't really post any personal information, none of that stuff. Um, One way I think it might be different is that there are a lot of topics I discuss, on forums and stuff like that I probably wouldn't participate in real life. One of the main ones is probably politics. Those types of discussions, I feel, tend to create some rifts, divide friendships and stuff like that, and that's not really something that I'm too interested in doing. So that stuff's all good online, but I don't really care for doing that stuff in the real world. For the second question, how does technology enable you to more fully express a specific dimension of your identity? As I stated in the last question, I tend to be a little bit more introverted. I generally live by the philosophy of speak less, listen more, and sometimes technology allows me to be a bit more extroverted without straying too far from my comfort zone, i.e. my room, my computer, all that stuff. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to technology, so it's nice to be able to feel at home while kind of exploring new avenues. Um, how does technology govern, influence, or shape your identity? Technology is a huge part of my identity. I'm an audio engineer, and today that means spending long hours in front of a computer screen with a bunch of technology pieces around me, such as audio mixers, speakers, computer, all that stuff. And I'm doing my master's program in IT in January, so I'm pretty surrounded by technology 24/7. To put the icing on the cake, I'm a gamer in my free time, so there's not much time where I spend without using a piece of technology. How's your digital identity a product of social and technological context in which you live? I don't feel like my digital identity is a product of my environment. I live in Miami, Florida. It's like the ultimate vacation party destination, but I tend not to surround myself with those types of things. I have some friends who are tech geeks like me, but for the most part, people who grew up with me live completely different lives than I do. The professions that I chose tend to be pretty solitary ones, and through working alone for most of the day, I do not feel like my surroundings influence my digital identity in the slightest. For question 5, how's your online identity like performance? I don't put on a show for anybody. As I stated earlier, I'm not highly active online, at least not with anybody that I personally know, and by no means I'm not trying to impress anybody. There are plenty of people who live their lives trying to do this, but that's not me. They try to, create as much buzz as possible, do things just to post it online. Like, for example, Colin Kaepernick, the NFL quarterback. A few months ago, he took a stand against standing for the national anthem because he believes that minorities are mistreated in this country. So a perfectly fine topic to take a stand against. There's nothing that anybody can say negatively about that. With that being said, his actions can be classified as a performance because when push came to shove and the time came to try to make a difference, in meaning the most recent presidential election, he openly admitted to waiving his right to vote. Again, there's nothing wrong with not voting, but if you're going to take a stand publicly and you're a public figure, then you should live by your words, otherwise it is just one big performance. How is your behavior different when you know it's public? Everyone, I think, to some extent alters their behavior when they know that everyone's watching. Some people become a little bit more contained and self-aware, that they're in the public eye, and then some people seem to bask in the attention and accentuate their actions to take them to a whole nother level. I personally favor the first option. I tend to become very self-conscious with my words and actions because there's enough negativity in this world. I don't want to ruffle any feathers or rile anybody up just for amusement or out of boredom. How does your digital identity affect your sense of who you are as a person? I believe that my digital identity and my real self are almost one and the same. Um, while I'm at work, I tend to be focused on my work because I'm at work. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm not very social. I'm not talkative. I don't like chit-chatting or office gossip or anything like that. Um, I believe that that reflects in my digital self in the sense that I'm also not very social on using social media and stuff like that. Um, I'm not too interested in daily food pictures or some random topic of discussion on Facebook or anything like that. That's not really what I enjoy partaking in. One could view this as my digital identity making a direct impact on my real self and vice versa, causing significant behaviors on each end. Or it can be viewed as my digital self and my real self being one and the same, with no need for one to alter the other. And I like to see it the second way. Thanks for watching.